and make
Yes.
some comments or ask questions.
Yeah, give
We
us
have that from time to time.
the lay of the land. We'll be happy to answer stuff. So yeah.
All right. Fantastic.
All right, we're up and live on
All right. Yeah,
YouTube.
I'm the last one to know, and I've got it. Okay.
All right,
Before we get rolling, there is a clip of you guys. I think it's about a year old. It's about a minute something. That this was like an overview of one of your concerts or one of your. So I just wanted to make sure we're going to play what you guys.
Yeah, kind of our promo stinger kind of a
thing. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that was okay to do.
That's great. And then just to get on the name, it's the 1985 Totally 80s.
Totally 80s mixtape live. Got it.
There's another band called the Class of 1995. That's a different band up in Michigan. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. All right, DH, you ready? Let's get
let's get that intro going. I'm ready over here, man.
We'll do it.
Hi, this is Jack Hughes of Wang Chung, and you're listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast show with your hosts DC and DH.
Live from Nashville, Tennessee, you are listening to the DND Dynamite 80s podcast with your hosts, DC and DH. So, guys, take it away. Hey, welcome back in the seat this week, man.
Yes, had a week off last week. Still won the question of the week, even though you didn't ask the question of the week, so I win it by default. So,
Right.
All right, folks, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I got all the mail this week, folks. I'm sorry I had to be out last week. I know how DC is, and I appreciate you putting up with him. But
hey, I tried DC, to steer the ship.
Hey,
without
at least
you.
Tammy was there, and she did a great job co-hosting.
Yes, she did.
And kind of taking over the show. So, brother, how's your week been this week?
Hey, the kids are crazy, and the teachers are getting that way. So we're heading towards summer.
Yes.
So we just got to keep pointing the ship in that direction, man.
Yes,
so
everybody's rowing in the same direction right now at this point. It's to June. Let's get there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
Hey, I am DC.
And we're going to be here to take another fantastic look at all things 80s. DC, a little change before I throw it over to you. Chad Betts, 7180, said, hello, friends, to everyone. So, thank you for joining in.
Welcome to joining in, man.
All right, DC, I'm telling you, normally we have a little conversation here and do a little back and forth, but man, you're just boring me now. And I'm so excited about our guest. I can't wait to start talking to these folks. So I'm going to throw it over to you, let you do the introductions, and we're going to get this one rolling.
Well, first of all, I want to thank them for. I tried to totally confuse them. We had them scheduled like later in the year, and then we had an opening, and they were gracious enough. Yeah, we can. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. So I want to thank them up front for filling in this spot for us, and we were excited about getting to know them a little bit better this early in the year. So
well, thank y'all. Thank y'all for taking care of DC's mistakes. So we appreciate it.
That's right.
Happy to come.
So we are honored to have Danny V and Lisa V with us, and they're with the 1985 Totally 80s mixtape live band, and they're in the Indiana state of Indiana.
Right.
Yep.
And,
but our bass player is from Nashville.
Awesome.
Hey, all
so
right.
we have
Shout
to
out
represent.
to Nashville. Cool.
He's a Vandy guy, not a 10 guy, just so you know.
Well, we'll still like him. That's okay.
That's like him.
Possibly. It depends if he's buying breakfast or not. So,
he does cheer for Tennessee when Vandy's not involved.
Right.
So
okay, well, I can do that.
Well, that'll work then.
Because I'll cheer for Vandy when Tennessee's not involved.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I do.
Yeah, it's all good. Danny, I've got to start out, man, with a question on everybody's mind. Is that real hair?
It is so real, man. Whoa, wait a minute.
Hey, I know that
we
feeling.
have none these days.
Oh, look, you're in a little.
Hey,
we're in the whole club together.
We can start a club.
Not only am I a hair club member, I'm also a club, right? There we go.
That's right.
So, no, that's great. Yeah, this is part of the reason why I do have wigs is because of the lack thereof. I'm follically challenged, as we call it, a bit, but only so many perfect heads that God made. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's true.
Well, we know the feeling of that. DC and I went to a concert one time, and the people on stage were
They
doing
were
this,
getting
and they're like,
blinded. So
can you move those two guys
yeah,
somewhere?
so we wear hats all the time now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man
we
for
learned
man,
our lesson.
blinded by the light. You get it. Okay, I get it.
That's right.
Y'all kind of tell us how the band started and how the concept come together.
Yeah, I'll probably start
You
because
start? I'll
this
chime
is
in.
my thing. So, kind of a fun story. So we're back. My daughters. I have two now 20-something daughters.
We have 2 daughters.
Sorry,
We have been married for almost 31 years.
Wow!
Oh,
Congratulations!
That's
Awesome.
Thank
Good for y'all.
So we have 2 daughters, and they're in their 20s. And back in their teens, we got into a band called. They got me into a band called the 1975. Okay, and if you listen to them, it's kind of if you are and for me, they're actually one of my favorite bands. We actually went and saw them about 9 times over their kind of their teenhood and even into their early 20s. A lot of 80s influence to them, really super talented performers, fantastic showmen. It's really just a great experience. And that show actually has affected some of our production that we do. So that's a later thing to talk about. But the actual show concept was kind of a joke in the beginning. So it was like, kids, and we're standing in line waiting for a show, and I said, I'm talking to her friends. I'm like, someday I'm gonna make an 80s band. I'm gonna call it the 1985. And they're like, Dad, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Turns out we actually started to like, what if we did this? And so Lisa was in a different band, and she actually talked to her drummer, and her drummer said, we made a conversation.
Made good friends with the drummer. I'm like, I think you would like my husband. He's really good at music. And he goes, well, if he's so good at music, why don't you guys have your own band? And I went, I don't know. And I came home and told him that, and he is always the dog with a bone. You throw the bone to him, and he's gonna go with it. He loves being creative, and it started. And guess what? We stole that drummer.
Yeah.
It's ours now.
Wow.
So
we won't tell anybody.
So he ended up being part of that. So we did a pilot test early on. It didn't work, wasn't right with the timing in my life. I was actually running a gym at the time. But then I was like, after that, I went back into teaching. This is what we had talked a little bit about. I went back into teaching for a smidge. And my daughters were kind of moving on their way out, and then our daughters. And so then it was kind of that place of, well, now's probably the time if we're going to maybe start doing this, and it's something to do so we're in, the band, the 1985, again, a kind of a cover band, tribute-ish, and I say ask because we're really not, there's nothing like us. You didn't, unless you're Barbie and the Rockers a little bit, or Gem and the Holograms a little bit, in terms of our look, but our whole style is very eclectic. But anyway, so it's kind of a tribute to the 80s in general. And then we ended up adopting the name, and then pulled together some great players. And almost 8 years later, we're still rocking, and it continues to grow. So it's
That's awesome.
This is what we're doing with our empty nest. Are you guys empty nesters?
Yes. My wife and I, we've been married 38 years. So we're at the point where I'm like, hey, grandkids, they're more fun than kids. Have them first. So, just advice.
Can come and visit them.
Right.
Or they visit you, and then
you get them all hyped up, and then they can go home.
Yes. Now, Dan, you mentioned something. Cool. We have something else in common. You ran a gym, and I run from a gym. So it's all good. So it works out.
That's right.
So kind of talk to us a little bit about some of your musical influences that have kind of impacted your sounds.
Yeah. Why don't you start with some of your vocal stuff, probably.
Like what?
Linda, you gotta say Linda.
I was raised on Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah,
big time.
That's I'm a huge
70s female singer-songwriter, Joni Mitchell, all those kinds of things. And so we bring some of that to
sure. And then of course the Wilsons with Heart, got Heart in there.
Sure.
You got of course Pat Benatar really influenced you, I think, too, as
Whitney,
well.
of course, is the be all end all. Nobody is her, but we do some Whitney stuff. But yeah, she's the queen of the 80s as far as I'm concerned.
And so part of our whole the way we tell people what we do in terms of the music side of things. So we're pop rock, new wave metal, and club music. So that's kind of the full genre. So a lot of 80s bands will tend to stick to maybe the
One
rock
genre.
rock metal
genre,
a
yeah.
lot.
Right.
Particularly, you see that a lot, and they might head into pop a little bit, or you get the other end where it's just mostly pop, and we really try to cover it all. So
Yes.
and that's kind of part of the overall philosophy. But so for me, it's kind of fun because when I started, my early musical influences were Kermit the Frog. The Muppets was very influential. The Muppet movie soundtrack, I had the tape and played
The
that.
Muppets and John Denver. Those were
And
the
John
two.
Denver. So those are my two biggies in the start. Very sheltered kid. I was an only kid, and my parents did like I didn't know older brothers to have Kiss albums. You know what I mean? So anyway, but I ended up finally like just sitting down and play. Like so, we grew up in the Detroit area, and I just literally I got a new boom box from my parents. Like this was one of those monster Iowa ones that was like AIWA
Yes.
like this big and it had
Yes.
all these features. And I remember just literally going, I'm going to put it on 98.7 with the wheels FM and just go boom and play. I just pushed play and record and just started listening. So I with Journey was on there and we had certainly like Foreigner and things like that was starting to get into that. But then very early on in my first band that we were in, we were very much metalheads because Motley Crue was like really big, right? Like the 1983 is when I hit
Right.
kind of into so like Motley Crue, Van Halen, and I was listening to the
Yeah.
US Festival in '83, and I was like, oh my gosh, and
Yeah.
there's Triumph playing and all these amazing bands. If you guys remember that, if you haven't listened to the US Festival and you
You
haven't listened to
need
the
to.
recordings, you got to go back and listen to it. And that was now Van Halen was massively three sheets to the wind in terms of being drunk. But the overall vibe, it's just so
Still
great.
sound great.
It's yeah, whatever. But anyway, Eddie was sounding pretty decent. But anyway, all that good stuff. So we had the metal side early, and then I got into girls at so I went to Catholic Guys High School, and then the sister school. I ended up doing some musicals with them, and all the girls liked new wave music. So I'm like, how am I going to get in with these gals? I can't talk Van Halen with these girls. How am I going to do it? So I started getting into like Depeche Mode, The Smiths, Violent Femmes, all these
Yeah.
other, New Order, all these bands, and it was just really cool. And of course, Duran Duran. And so that mix of no kind of, and then of course you listen
Yeah.
to pop radio. Of course, that was
Yes.
all playing. But I think that, and then eventually kind of more the alternative stuff like with The Cure and then the Cult, of course, great bands. So we kind of got the whole mix of it, and that was as opposed to like so Lisa, she grew up in more of a rural town in Michigan.
If you're watching and you're from Michigan, this
Yes.
is where I'm from. Do you
Yeah.
know how Michigan people do this?
That's right.
Tennessee friend? This is
Tennessee.
I've seen someone from Michigan do that, and I
I
thought,
lived
well, okay.
here and Dan lived here.
Yes. She was not born and raised in South Detroit. She was
No,
born
I
and raised in South, whatever.
Southern Michigan.
Southern Michigan.
Yeah.
Southern Michigan. Yeah.
But anyway, so that but so she was definitely more into like probably the rock-ish
Top
like,
40.
top 40 and then
Yeah.
rock side of things. And then
Right,
definitely
right.
these two especially
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, the greatest answer I've ever heard was tonight. What is your musical influence? Kermit the Frog and the Muppets. That
Yeah,
is the
gotta
most
write that down.
amazing
That's
answer
exactly
ever.
Why are there so many?
Hashtag
And I'm telling you,
Uh,
man, it was the best part because I got all the voices down because I'm like
we can do it.
the voice imitations of over and over and over, and then Muppets Christmas Carol, and oh, it's so good. So
yeah, yeah.
That is the
Um,
most awesome answer I've ever heard.
It was. It was.
yeah.
You mentioned all those different genres of music for, that you listened to and then was influenced by and all that. And we asked this of our guests a lot of times. The 80s was unique in that aspect, wasn't it? Because like here in Nashville, and I'm going to steal DH's line, he uses some, you might hear a Van Halen song and then they play Whitney Houston, a couple songs
back.
on the
Yeah.
same radio
And then
station.
Conway Twitty and Billy Idol and Madonna and
Yeah.
Rad.
But it was
and
crazy.
Rad.
But it was that kind of decade for that, wasn't it?
I don't think
Yeah.
there will ever be another decade like that. I don't think there can be because everyone from Gen X was listening to the same
Yes.
top
Yes.
40.
Stuff. Yeah.
That's right.
And he talks about it all the time, that the top 40 was filled with that eclectic mix, like
Yes.
what you're saying.
So if you look at those chart, like Casey Kasem, I'm counting them down.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a whole
Absolutely.
segment in our show. We actually play a little bit of audio from Casey as part of our show.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
he introduces Guns N' Roses for us, which is kind of a fun little thing. But anyway, so but that whole his top 40, and you would just hear this crazy mix, and even as the decade and we also are Sirius XM followers, so we listen to like they play the Billboard top each weekend while we're traveling to shows. Frequently we'll listen to them, and
Yes.
you're hearing such a crazy variance, especially as you got later into the 80s. Then it started to
Right.
get with the club. So the club music really started to hit heavy. In the mid there was some of the more of the rap. So we don't really we do a little bit. We actually do a little bit of Run DMC and like young MC, and then we do like Technotronic and those kinds of things as well. But Bobby Brown, we're actually we're re-debuting a new, we call it our Funky Medley this coming weekend, where we've got everything from Bobby Brown. We're doing a little bit of Kool and the Gang, and then we're
Oh,
gonna
wow.
we're
Awesome.
stealing Bruno Mars from the modern era.
We sprinkle in some
Sprinkling a bit of 24K into it, and
Yeah.
and then and it's really cool because part of what we recognize so much in modern music, and we hear it a lot, is the fact that it's so much of modern music is influenced by that 80s sound.
Yes.
So if
Yes.
you listen to like groups like The Weeknd in particular, and like I was
Mm.
mentioning, 1975, it's all over that stuff. It is like clean Strat sounds, really like just very like pingy, I guess, kind of Strat sounds,
Even like
electronic
Chappell Roan
drums. Yeah,
has
Chappell Roan,
80s
tons. Yep.
80s influence. But
Yep.
the beautiful
Mm.
thing about growing up, I feel like Gen X, I don't care how old I am, the fact that I grew up Gen X, I'm
Yes.
cooler than you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it is. I mean,
That's
even
exactly right.
even
cool
our
each other.
concerts,
That's
even our
exactly right.
concerts back in the day was
So
cooler
cool.
because we used to talk about, like, here in Nashville, you'd see like Van Halen special guest star Rat. Next week, Conway Twitty special guest star Rat. You know,
Rat,
it didn't matter.
Rat wanted to
You know,
open for
it
everybody.
didn't matter.
Back in the
I
day,
mean,
Rat, they
there
opened
for
for
a while,
everybody.
Rat was opening. It could be Lawrence Welk, and Rat was going to be there,
That's
and they were
incredible.
awesome every time. So it's just and it's kind of like you said, it was such a fun era because I was more of the hair metal guy, but I listened to everything. I mean,
Right.
John Cougar Mellencamp, Hall and Oates, it didn't matter. It was all
And
good music.
we know all of these songs. They
Yes.
live up here. And so we do these shows and people sing along with every
Yes.
single song, and they don't miss a word. And it's so beautiful for
Yes.
all of us to have this like group karaoke. It's like a spiritual thing.
Yeah,
It's
It is.
fantastic.
and that I think part of our true philosophy in the band is that we're not super big, and there's some bands that like to do this style where they go, well, we don't play what everybody else plays. We play the deep cuts. And honestly, it's just like for us, that tends to be a little bit more like me centered on that kind of a deal. Like I want to be different. And I'm not saying that that's horribly bad. I guess there's probably a space for that, but it's like, I think people just want to know, like when they go to a show, they want to know a good majority of the music that they're listening
Absolutely.
to.
Well,
And
and
I think that's important. So
yeah,
That's
and
right.
it's kind of like DC and I, we talk about this all the time. The gift that you guys give
Mhm.
everyone is amazing. So thank you for sharing your gift because you give everybody a chance to get 2 hours away from the craziness
From
of the
their-
world
Yes.
and go back
What a gift.
to go back to a better time in
Yes.
life and re-experience things through song. Yes, I like that. Turn back time. Exactly.
that's our tour.
That's
That was our
That's
tour.
exactly.
Yeah, that's
So-
And that's
exactly
what we
right.
have. That's what we have people come up and tell us after.
Mhm.
Like I felt like I was in high school again.
Yes.
When you
Yeah.
when your biggest concern was your SATs or whatever.
Right.
But it really does. It just pulls people back to a more innocent time for them.
Yes.
You
Mhm.
know,
It
And-
does. And
I love that.
and the thing is, and another thing, I'm going to ask y'all this because I always love to hear this from the artists. DC and I have done a couple of live remote shows where we've kind of been there. We do the podcast, watch the show, and just kind of film some things.
Mhm.
And to see everybody experiencing the show differently because they're reliving their
That
own
is so cool.
kind of
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of see that from the stage area as well, because it's so cool to watch all of that going on.
Yeah, it's fun to see the minute, like, say Jesse's Girl starts da 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 da, and everybody, oh!
Yep.
And they look at each other. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just like a quick spark. I love
That's
it.
a lot of energy.
Yes. That was we
She
can tell
taught
who's
all
got
day.
the
I didn't-
energy, right? So I do have 2 comments coming in. Chad Betts 7180 has intervened, said awesome interview, guys. So yes, I mean, you guys are amazing. And Lynn has come in and said class of 85 alum
Hey,
here.
Lynn.
I'm 86, Lynn. So we're all there together.
We're
You're all
88.
on
We're
point.
both 88.
88. See,
Okay.
all right there together. The 80s top 40 had a ton of variety, and I could always go to the record store. Good point, Lynn. Our late night MTV for alternative taste. It was a glorious era. Yes, it was.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
And the fun
But-
part in one of the parts of the show that we do is we, of course, we have to give the nod to MTV itself, right?
Mm.
Because I don't think we can overestimate, I guess is probably the better way of saying it, overestimate what the impact that MTV did have
Yes.
on the entire
Unreal.
decade. It is,
Unification.
if that would not
of our
have happened,
generation.
Yes.
things could have been very, very different
Totally
for the whole
different,
decade. And I think that it really it began the process of, I guess, for where visual representation was as important in some ways as the musical representation. And not to say that it's like maybe equal at that point, but it started to kind of go that direction. Hey, a video killed the radio star, right? Of course. But for us, it really, and that's an important part of our show is, with that, kind of giving tribute to MTV, we really want people to kind of, and we play the launch of MTV as part, because we travel with a video wall screen behind us. So
Yes.
there's visuals
Yeah.
that kind of go along with everything. It's a sync show. And that gives people that, and it's really fun because I invite people, and she hears the story every time, but I invite people to sit with me in my living room back in Livonia, Michigan, was where I grew up, and sit on my rust-colored carpeting with me and watch the Zenith TV in the corner as MTV launched, right? And so it's
Right.
just kind of bringing you to that moment. It's like, okay, forget all about everything. And I really embellish the story. Part of that is just to get people to disconnect from the modern moments and just to come with me on a trip for a minute.
Yes.
And let's go visit this for a second. And man, we really just love that. I think that's where we try to pull a bit of the heartstrings in a good way, and just in some of the. I'm kind of a neuroscience freak too, a little bit in this kind of deal. So I understand, like, the psychology of a show is very important to me. So I'm not like trying to manipulate, but I am trying to, like, kind of
Lead.
guide and lead people along the way.
Yeah.
And part of that is
Beautifully
having some, and
Yeah.
I've heard some of your guys and some of your watched a little bit of your YouTube channel, and just like some ministry background with myself as, former worship pastor for many years, and that kind of is part of the whole group
Amazing.
singing. So it's
Amazing.
like my job for 14 years was getting groups to sing, and so I do that a lot in our shows. It's a lot about, hey,
Right.
let's sing, living on prayer, let you sing.
Yeah.
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 And it's amazing, Dan, that you mentioned that, because I can remember, because DC and I have been friends since we were old enough to walk and ride our bikes up and down the street. We lived on opposite ends of the same street.
Oh.
And I remember we were about, I think it was 14 years old when cable first came through. And before then, we only had like
Mhm.
5 channels.
Yeah.
And they all went off at like midnight.
My parents
So-
still have the 5 channel.
So we're sitting there. Yeah.
Correct.
And we're
So I had
sitting
to go
there
to
the first
DH's
night.
house if I wanted to watch some cool stuff, because my parents
man.
still don't have
And
cable.
and the first night we watched Sports Center, the same Sports Center, like 8 times, just because
Sure.
it was so cool.
Yeah.
And then
right.
that Saturday night we discovered the MTV, and that's when it started in. And it was like, okay, we're up all night
Now
watching
we're
videos.
all
now.
hooked. Yeah.
So you mentioned that brings back a lot of memories
A
to
lot of
that
memories.
as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
DH, I think it's time to see these guys in action.
Let's do it.
Let's look at a quick video here.
Yes.
Give everybody a chance to kind of see what they do, and it is awesome stuff.
Thank you.
And
Now let's
go
see if
ahead
you
and-
can get the video to play. This is the challenge of the week.
I'm not gonna pressure myself too much. I hope it will work.
So far, I still see your face, so it's not working.
Hey,
All right, let's see if we get it going here.
Started sharing.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
And I had to keep myself from singing because I didn't want to lose any of our listening audience. But I was starting to sing along in my head. I'm like, I'm
That's
getting
right.
into
That's
it.
right.
You guys are
Yeah.
awesome. Just an
Oh, it's
amazing
just-
band. Now,
Well, and it's a fantastic show. It
Oh,
just
it
really
is.
is.
It
I mean, you
is.
just have so much going on. And
yeah, it's
The lot
it's just
amazing.
an
on.
exciting show. I can tell
Speaking
that.
of so much going on, I
Yeah.
am ready. We are going to do the most important question of the week.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is
Impressive.
the most important question of the millennium. I'm going to go that far. So what we
You just want a free breakfast from this is what
That's
you
what-
want.
I got to laughing. I got to look at Lisa's facial expression. She's like, "What is fixing to happen here?"
Yeah, right.
So
Explain it, DA.
what we're going to do every Friday morning. This is a high class, high
High
quality
budget
show.
show. Yeah.
So every Friday morning, we do our post show breakdown of how the show went and all, which basically consists of us
What is
meeting at,
what DC did wrong?
yeah, which
That's basically what it is.
yeah, kind of, but no, and we do this at a very exclusive restaurant called the Waffle House.
Oh,
Think
waffle.
about that.
Yes. So the Awful Waffle, we meet there on Friday morning to discuss the show. That's how high budget this show is.
Right.
So
Impressive.
we have a question of the week, and this became a fan favorite. We've been doing this,
Oh,
what,
yeah,
3 or
people
4
ask-
years now?
Ask if we're going to do
Um,
it. So there you go.
So we're going to ask you a question. We're going to give you 2 bands, and you get to choose your favorite based on whatever it does, just whatever you want to choose. But I do have to say, as of right now, we're tied. First time ever. DC has continued to keep the tie going. And
Okay.
DC always says I cheat. And we go round and round about this because what comes around goes around. I'll tell you why. I don't
That's
cheat. He
awful.
just keeps saying this. And DC, all I can say is shame, shame,
Oh
shame.
man.
And I'm not going to go
That's awful.
round and round with you tonight, okay? Because
Well, I
I don't
appreciate that.
cheat. I'm going to sit here very quietly, and I'm going to look online for a couple of what's the larger animal next up from the mouse? You know, they're like larger cousin.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Gerbils?
No,
Yeah.
a little larger,
Squirrels?
little larger.
Okay,
Starts with an
wonder.
R, ends with an at. I'm gonna
I
look
might be a
for-
wanted man if I told
Yeah.
you.
See, I could
Right.
be, But I don't, I'm going to look online and go round and round trying to find some traps for those animals while DC
So you're
tells
gonna
you the bands.
There you go.
I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to lay that trap
Lay
down.
it down, yeah.
And when I catch it, it's going to be shame, shame, shame.
Yes.
But
Yes.
so I'm
one
going
of
to
the
work
best
on
riffs
this.
ever, though. That "Lay It Down" riff.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I'm
will have
not
to
sure
agree
what
to
you're
that,
talking
yeah.
about. I'm confused. I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
we're going to
there.
go with DH Rat versus DC Poison.
Ooh.
You're just asking
Or
us?
if you combine
It's
them
up to
together,
you.
like Lynn said, if they went on tour together, you'd have Rat Poison.
It could be the Rat Poison tour.
Rat Poison.
Very
And then
good,
you can go to the
Rat.
movie
That was a
9
very
to
good one,
5.
Lynn. By
Now,
the way,
9
Lynn
to
is
5
our
and Rat
comedian.
Poison.
Yes.
Riddle Rat from 9 to 5. Remember that?
Yes.
There you go. That'd be the
So,
warm-up band.
no pressure, but this this is the question of the week. I haven't said a word, so it's totally y'all's choices. I didn't even pay attention to the bands he gave you, so I'm just gonna let you choose.
There you go.
So DC, you are the Poison guy,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
okay, got it. Right. Okay, Lisa, go.
Poison.
Yep. You gotta give him a reason why.
It was on the radio more when I was a kid.
Okay.
We didn't have any money. So everybody's like, what albums did you buy? I'm like, I didn't buy albums. I didn't have any money. I listened to the
Listen
radio.
to it on the radio.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and tried to
Everything I
record it.
listened to.
Yes.
That's why I'm so basic, because I like everything that everybody else liked. But Poison was on the radio.
Yep.
And I think it was maybe a little more girly, like girls
you.
like Poison
Yeah,
a little bit
Yeah,
more.
I can see.
They're pretty
I can
boys
see
by
that.
far.
Yeah. So do you have a?
Yeah, and that's a tough one because I think so. If I were to say like influence wise, I'd say Poison certainly was more of the influence by far in terms of like the glam genre. Like if you look at what a glam band looked like, they really helped set.
Yes.
Like Crew is the dark
Yeah.
side of that. They were the like really
Yes.
made up side of that.
Definitely.
So that style. But I would say like if you would check my Spotify playlists, like and what I've played of that, I'm definitely probably listening to rap more. I would say probably. So I would like I said, that riff from Lay It Down is just
This is what it's like to have rehearsal.
just that's just sick, man. And then Wanted Man, like
Yes. Yes.
like so deep regrets. But again, what I would say, I do listen to those, but they don't last very long. I would say is comparatively like the lasting flavor of those. And of course, Round and Round, we actually we played that for a bit. We found, and this is interesting to say, it didn't resonate with the majority of fans as much as because we do a metal medley. We were trying to like do like full metal songs, and it was just not. It kind of killed the dance vibe that we do. So we do like a whole metal medley. Everything from Crew in Europe to we've got Quiet Riot in there, Twisted Sister. So this is like metal-esque, right? So we're not talking full out like Judas Priest or like that level, but it's anyway. But that song Rat was part of that. But if we had to cut it because it was actually not wasn't getting, people were like, I don't know what the song is. A lot of I hate to say it didn't have the staying value. So
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm getting here, DC, and I'm gonna recap this for you, okay? So Lisa voted for Poison, but she changed over to Rat at the end. Danny went with Rat, so I win.
I figured that's how you would see it.
Lisa,
It's your podcast. You can say whatever you want.
So we're still tied, and Lisa, it was great having you on the show. Danny, as we continue the show now.
Nice.
Oh man. Well,
No.
speaking of Lynn,
Oh,
I guess it's
is it time for laughing with Lynn?
Lynn.
All right. So yeah.
Now, folks, Lynn is just one of our great friends that we have got to meet him. He is a big fan of the show, and we wanted to. So Lynn is a chiropractor from Nebraska, and Dr. Lynn is what we call him. He sends us a joke every week, an 80s joke. So we have laughing with Lynn as part of the segment of the show that we wanted to honor him with. Excellent. So he sent me one here, DH, I think is going to be a pretty good one.
Do we need a drum roll?
Nah.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. That's good. So Gen X, speaking of Gen X, Gen X kids were really into plumbing because it's totally tubular. So there you go.
There you go.
Thanks, Lynn.
Lynn, another
That's
good
a
one.
pretty
Thank
basic
you for
joke, but we got you, man.
Yeah,
That's
we
good.
got.
Yeah,
So
that's
there you
appreciated.
go. We appreciate Lynn. Keep them coming.
Right.
Keep them coming every
Oh.
week. Every week.
Oh.
So Lynn, we appreciate your
Dad jokes.
listening in,
Yes,
and he's a great guy. So we appreciate it.
Thanks, Lynn.
Yes, thanks, Lynn.
So I'll go ahead and
Are
do
you
the
gonna-
trivia question.
Yes,
too?
go ahead and we'll put our
We'll get
trivia
that
out there
knocked
for
out,
this
too.
week. Now, Danny,
right.
Lisa, you guys can answer the trivia, but you have to tune in next week to see if you're right.
Okay, let's go.
All right,
All right.
DC.
He's going to be the person.
I love trivia, and I
All
have
right.
a bizarre, very specific memory.
Magnet mind when it comes
Right.
to minutia. When it comes
Minutia.
to,
Minutia.
All right. All
and I
right.
can't remember what yesterday was. So there.
Right, I know
me,
that feeling.
me either.
Yeah.
In the film, The Goonies, what is the name of Chunk's famous dance?
Truffle shuffle.
Okay.
So
folks,
I have a very good feeling, as confident as that answer was, and as quick as
that
that
she feels
came out,
confident about that.
it's going to be probably pretty
I
confident.
was just talking
so-
about the Goonies today with
Yeah.
people. I really was.
Yeah. It was meant to be. So there you
See?
go.
See, so we'll find out next week, folks. We're going to
All
find
right.
out
We will
if Lisa
tune in.
is correct. I have a strong feeling that's the fastest answer. I do not want to play Trivia Pursuit against you.
No.
He's
I
Or,
don't
really
want
or
good.
what's that
80s
game show where you got to
trivia
hit the
with her.
buzzer and give the top
No
answer?
whammies.
I wouldn't have a
Yeah.
chance to put my hand on the
Yeah.
buzzer.
No, that was quick.
That was very quick.
Oh,
Oh. Well, guys, before we get you out of here, talk to us about some stuff coming up and where you'll be and all that. What's kind of on the horizon for you,
Yeah.
and how to follow you guys. Obviously.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
As well.
So we're in our we're turn back time tour still.
Mhm.
So our whole opening, which is kind of fun. We actually part of our drummer has, and I don't know if that video had it in it. It may have had it, but our drummer has a drum riser that has a video screen on the front of it. I think it may have had that, but anyway, so there's a video screen on the front of our drum riser. And part of the opening of our show has we actually went and filmed a guy who likes us. We filmed his DeLorean.
wow.
And so the grill of the DeLorean lights up in the beginning
okay.
of the show.
Yeah.
And then we take people like on the
Wow.
Zoom. So it's a lot of fun. So the opening of our show is it literally immerses you and it pulls you back. So it's like, here we go, kind of thing. So we're in the middle of our Turn Back Time tour. And part of that is, so we've been kind of broadening our geographic, I guess is probably a way of saying it.
We've gone farther than we have. So
Yep.
Nashville, look out.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have anything
Oh,
booked in
absolutely.
Nashville.
So
But hit us up, people.
We're
We're
Yeah,
going
we
good.
need to
Yes.
make that happen.
We
So-
need to definitely make that happen.
That would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
So we're playing like in state this weekend. We're in a place kind of central Indiana, but then we're going to be in Dubuque, Iowa on
Wow.
on next Friday, and then
Okay.
we're in Chicagoland the following Saturday, and then we got like all the way down to Cincinnati. We go all the way over to Pittsburgh, Detroit area. We go up to Milwaukee, like Wisconsin, this stuff. Madison is on the list as well, but then northern Michigan. So that's sort of like probably a 6-hour region around
Wow.
South. And I would
Radius.
say
Yeah.
geographically, we're pretty lucky in that respect, is that the Midwest is great for that we can even potentially still, so we could do a stretch to get to Nashville, but still relatively within that range to be able to hit a lot of good places. So
Yeah.
And summer's coming, right, teachers?
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
that
Summer's
means-
coming.
Trip.
Road
That
trip.
means more time off for me
Yep.
as a teacher,
See?
so we can do a few more shows.
Yeah.
And that means
Yeah.
road trip with DC Pan. So
Yeah,
we're
that'd
good.
be great for you guys.
I'm
I
used to
love
doing
it.
that anyway. So there you
Right.
go.
See?
And I highly would highly welcome you guys if you wanted to come in.
We
We could
need
do a
to-
live
if-
show at a show or something like that. That'd be a blast.
Maybe when y'all come towards Cincinnati, because that's only like a 3.5 hour drive up,
There you
DC. We
go.
might
There
be
we
able
go.
to hit that one weekend.
There we
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. We'd
I'd love to.
see you
We'd
guys
love to.
in person. That's for sure.
Fun.
Oh man, but it's been an honor to meet you guys.
Yes,
and we appreciate you having some time with us and kind of reminisce those '80s, and we just have a fun time doing that. So we appreciate meeting fine folks like you to do that with.
It's been a lot of fun.
And if anybody wants, kind of checking things out, if you want to follow us, it's again, it's the 1985band.com is the main source for that. And so if you want to check that out, our social, you can find us on Facebook. It's at the 1985 band. Technically, the word band is not in our name, but we had to because the website people decided to squat. Somebody else decided to squat on the 1985. So there
you go. Okay. So check out these fine folks and get to a show that's on their list that they're going to be performing at. And as you've seen, just fantastic artists. And all the best to you. Safe in your travels.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time tonight. Can you hold there as we end the show?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. DH, go ahead.
All right, folks. First off, thank y'all for joining us tonight, and we'd love to catch up with you at another time whenever you are available. We'd love to have you back on.
Please come back and be on a guest again for us.
And folks, that's going to do it for another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. We appreciate all our guests coming on, all our listeners chiming in, folks. We couldn't do this without you because we never know what we're doing. It's our guests that make this show. We just try to hold down a little bit of the
We just have some fun.
That's all we're doing. But as I end off every week when I send it over to DC, remember, folks, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind. So always be kind to each other. DC?
Amen, brother. Let's get those sponsors in real quick.
Let's do it.
All righty. D&D Dynamite 80s would like to thank their sponsors. Hudson's Flags and More, Jackie's Creations on Facebook, PJG Marketing, The Roy Band, Totally Cool 80s, Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids, The Magic Yarn Project, and Hearts for Isabella. Please check out all these great folks online.
Yes, folks. Check them out. And when we started this thing, over 6 years ago now, DC, can you believe that?
No.
One of the things we talked about was if we ever, just simple no, move on. Thanks for that support there, DC. You really appreciate that chime in there. But we decided if we ever got to the point where we could help organizations and give back, that's what we wanted to do. And we've been so fortunate to become associated with 3 projects during this any time of year. If we would like for you to consider, if you find it in your heart to give support, financial, prayers, whatever you want to send to these folks. First one is the Magic Yarn Project. And what these folks do, it's a group of volunteers across the nation, and they hand knit head coverings like princes and superheroes, and they donate them to kids that are battling cancer. And it makes such a huge difference for those kids and those families. So they do an amazing job. Next is Charlie Bubbles Cares for Kids. Our friend, the Vooch, Paul Karafotis.
The actor.
What this organization does, if you make a donation, they provide books to kids that may not otherwise be able.
Books
writes the books as well, but they provide books to the kids as well. That the kids may not normally be able to afford. And as educators, all 4 of us know how important literacy is at a young age. So we really appreciate your thoughts for that. Anything you want to contribute. And then the last organization, there's our sweet Isabella right there, our angel Isabella. Isabella was born with a heart issue and succumbed to that. Her parents started Hearts for Isabella. Charlie Bubbles actually wrote a book based on that, and there it is right there. Braveheart. So we got to interview Isabella's parents, and what they do now is they go into hospitals and help parents that are going through these similar situations. So, we're just honored to be associated with those 3 organizations and ask for any consideration, monetary, positive thoughts, whatever you want to send out. Please keep them in your thoughts. And
pass the word on.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next week, my brother.
You're going to make me do this? You haven't given me a week off in 3 years.
Our brother from another is going to be on the show again.
The Rock and Roll Rev.
Rock and Roll Reverend will be back on. So we have Brady Weldon. He's going to talk about his book.
Yeah. Yes,
He had a book that's come out, and I've got
to order a copy. I have been meaning to order that, and I need to. The Rock and Roll Rev, man, you talking about energy. I don't know where
high
he gets
energy
it.
guy. Yes.
He is great. And speaking of the Rock and Roll Rev, hey folks, if you get a chance, don't forget our friends, the Roy Band.
The Roy Band.
They do their monthly shows,
Mm-hmm.
amazing people. So if you get a chance, get out and see them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So once again, we appreciate our guests tonight being on with us, Danny V and Lisa V.
Yes, even though I had to correct Lisa's answer in the question of the week. It's all good though. It's all good.
She ended up getting it right, didn't she?
I knew what Lisa meant because she had sent me a message earlier with the answer. So, we just got to talking and you confused her, DC. We're blaming you.
Okay, there you go. But these great folks are right. These great folks are with the 1985 Totally 80s Mixtape Live band.
Amazing.
They tour all over in the Midwest, and please get out and see them.
Yes,
it's going to be a thrill for you for sure. Go back and hit those great memories because they can sure do that in that show for you.
Yes,
as
definitely.
you can see some of that as we played it tonight. So once again, guys, all the best to you, and we hope that you'll come back on at some point again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been a pleasure.
All right. Very good. So for Danny V and Lisa V, that's DH. I am DC. DC always leads us out by saying, keep playing those 80s, my friends, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week, folks.
All right. Take care.